I'm going to show you how I went about changing the chain on my 2020 Specialized Turbo Levo. So the tools I used for this are very simple. I used a pair of pliers because I don't have the specialized tool for undoing the quick link on the chain, and I used a Park tool, a mini power brute, for removing one of the links from the chain. Chain's on the smallest ring, so pretty much the first thing that needs to be done is to find where the power link is on the existing chain. So that link can be undone by squeezing the rollers on either side of it. I tried doing that with a pair of long nose pliers. I would say that my initial attempts were not very successful. So I tried inserting the long nose part of the plier just underneath through the holes in the chain and squeezing, but the long nose pliers they're not really thin enough to fit through the 11-speed chain. So I had a couple of goes at that and it failed miserably. So what I did to solve the problem was actually kind of squeeze the chain to get the chain out of the way, so I had direct access to the side. And then when you had direct access to the side of the chain, or the link I'm trying to squeeze, then it came undone very easily with the long nose pliers. And then it falls apart in your hand, really. So I carefully saved the two power links in case I wanted to use them later on. So something I should have shown before I started disassembling the chain was the amount of stretch. So I have the cheaper Park tool that shows you when you're greater than 0.5% in stretch, so between 0.5 and 0.75. So I understand it's recommended once you get past 0.5 it's probably time to replace it on an e-bike, which is what I'm doing, but the chain has not gone past 0.75. So, maybe if I get caught somewhere in an emergency, I might still use it. So I was careful to keep all the parts for later on. With the chain removed, the next thing to do is to compare the length of the old chain with the new chain. And you can see I laid it out here on the ground. The ground was clean, and I lined up the chains next to one another, link next to link, so I could see how many I needed to remove. And in this instance, not many as it turns out, so I was lucky the chain I bought was long enough. I should have checked that beforehand, but I didn't. And there's is it 1.5 links that needed to be removed. So to remove this 1.5 links, I used a special tool. Not an expensive special tool. And you connect this clamp to the chain, and you screw it up and drive the pin out, and the link comes off. With the link removed, the next thing to do is to insert the new chain onto the bike. This particular chain I have is not directional, but that's something to keep in mind, just to check if your chain is directional to make sure you put it in the right way. Try as I might to make everything look smooth and professional, always a bit clumsy. When you're running it over the front chain ring, you need to be aware about the thick and thin links on the front chain ring, and to put the thick one through the larger gap in the chain. When the chain is assembled and the power link's put on, it's a simple matter of rotating the power link to the top and then applying some pressure on the pedals to make it click into place. You can see here I'm using an Allen key placed into one of the bolts on the front spider to enable me to pedal backwards, and I'm using the so-called clutch on the rear derailleur to take the tension off the chain when I need to move it manually. With the chain correctly put on the bike, for me the next thing to do was to lubricate it. So this is a lubricant and cleaner all in one. So it takes me 5 rotations of the pedal to make the chain go all the way around, and I do that for the links on both sides. So once it's lubricated, then it's a matter of wiping off any excess, and the instructions say you can't wipe too much off. And with that done, the job is done.